Hey everyone, in this video I'll be ranking all 5 of the new class mods in Borderlands 4 on a tier list from best to worst. There are 5 new ones for each of the Vault Hunters, and whenever love list drops there'll be a 6th. And honestly there's some interesting new builds that can be made with these, and I've done the math and broken down everything here for you guys. And for a brief overview, Vex has the new living weapon. Whenever she deals action skill damage, she has a 2% chance to trigger her kill skills. This effect can only occur every 5 seconds, so not like Living Dead Zane, unfortunately. For HARLOWE, she got this Chirurgeon here. Whenever HARLOWE puts an enemy into stasis or deals damage to an enemy that is immune to stasis, she gets 80% increased damage and 100% extra status effect chance against that enemy while it's entangled. This will also double those effects on enemies that are immune to stasis, so that'd be 160% increased damage. Now, HARLOWE just recently got a blue skill tree class mod, which is a little bit different. I'll be comparing those in this video. Amon got the damned here. Activating an action skill or forge skill causes Amon's gunshots have a 10% chance to cause a pyre, dealing incendiary melee forge skill damage based on 100% of damage dealt for 10 seconds. This can only occur once per second. RAFA got the power puncher, and I want to know who hates RAFA on the Balance team, but when RAFA has a grenade equipped, his melee attacks have a 25% chance to spawn a fire fissure that deals ordnance melee damage equal to RAFA's grenade damage. They just dropped a really nice new heavy ordnance here. Unfortunately, with that 327k DPS, it does not work for this class mod. And Cash Stay Winning got the trainer class mod, reference to Pokemon here. Cash gains up to 40% increased damage dealt, or gun damage dealt per bone totem. The less health each bone totem has, that'll get it upwards of that 40% here. And truly skilled trainers should always win with their favorites. Now I'm going to first start off with Vex's class mod, the living weapon here. Now honestly, that 2% chance to trigger kill skills is quite low. Having a 5-second cooldown is kind of disappointing. I wish it was a bit shorter or no cooldown at all. If it had no cooldown, it would actually be a very good option compared to like the Teen Witch class mod, which is still Vex's best in my opinion. But this is kind of interesting because it comes with points into grave power. Kill skills will gain increased max stacks. So you can now get +6 max stacks, which takes grave implements 20% gun damage buff up to 180%. What's also nice about this is it can come with points into Mourning here, giving her kill skills increased effectiveness from 30% to 54% here. All kill skills or all class mods come with a dud roll, and this one is the Deeper Grave. Kill skills gain increased duration. Meh. And in my opinion, the best roll to get here is 3 points into the Grave Power and 4 points into Grave Fiends here. This is a kill skill. Vex and her minions deal increased damage. 10% per stack with 4 points. It has 3 stacks naturally, now 9 stacks. So that's 90% extra damage dealt, which is much better than getting the boost to the Mourning skill, but you still can take Mourning because it is pretty early on in the skill tree, and it'll massively boost up the overall damage dealt Vex does. Yeah, this would be like the god roll for this. Now, one thing about this is the Teen Witch class mod is really good because she gets shield steal. What's great about that is then you can use something like the Watch for Dinner and have the full 35% drain shield for 150% gun damage, which ends up being a bit better in this case because while the damage on this is higher, having the Teen Witch with the Watch for Dinner gives you insane amounts of damage, but insane amounts of survivability. Now you can check Vex's stats at any time, and obviously these being kill skills, they have to be activated here, but you can get some pretty nice boosts. 100% extra damage dealt, 350% gun damage, and then a nice boost to the skill damage here. Fun fact for those that don't know, I Am a Gun says it gives action skill damage bonuses from our gun damage. It's actually getting added to our skill damage. So that increases the bloodletter damage that we'll be dealing, so that's quite nice. Now it is a little bit tricky to get the max stacks here. I'd recommend using like a critical hit knife and throwing that at the boss because those crits will activate it. And action skill damage, so using our Eldritch Blast here with the chaining ability, it allows you to get your kill skills to activate once every like 5 seconds, which is nice. But again, I wish there was no cooldown. If there was no cooldown, this would be probably her best in slot or close to it. But yeah, it does give her some pretty nice gun damage boosts, and her overall damage output is obviously a lot higher. But with this, you're making the decision between extra survivability or extra damage. So if you have something like the Collector class mod, you can roll with this setup here and getting those increased kill skills, as that will, you don't have to worry about going down if you have the 356 version of the shield. Unfortunately though, I did see that that has been removed oddly from the loot pool, so hopefully there will be an update that brings that back because it is really nice. But with this setup, you want to try and get your kill skills off as much as possible, so using the crit knife is obviously going to be a nice boost to that overall. With things like Mortal Terror activating our kill skills when critically hitting enemies. So yeah, that is how you're able to get those pretty nice boosts to overall gun damage. I guess the best place to use this would be like on a blue skill tree minion build, since your minions with the Reapers can hit multiple enemies dealing skill damage, but it's only every 5 seconds. Now I hope that they end up reducing that cooldown to like 2 seconds or end up changing it to have no cooldown at all, because that would actually make this a whole lot better. Because right now as it stands, it is a little bit tricky to use, as yeah, having your kill skills activated a bit more frequently is nice, but you're not going to max out your stacks often, especially with the takedown being easy to take out that many enemies. You're still going to have your stacks expire, which are right beside my head. And after a few seconds, if you're not able to sustain those, you see the gun damage starts to drop off pretty quickly. But honestly, I think this is an interesting class mod. I like getting the increased kill skill stacks. I wish that cooldown was not existent. It would actually make it a competition for the Teen Witch, but as it stands right now, I just don't think it's possible to beat the Teen Witch. Having lifesteal apply to shields and overshield is just so insanely powerful, while also boosting up our overall lifesteal, because that enables you to use the Watch for Dinner with max amp. So honestly, I think that the living weapon's probably like a B tier. I might even be inclined to say A tier. Like, it is fun. You can, you know, if you don't have a Teen Witch and you want to use something a little different, it's a good one to pick, but it does have its downsides. The big thing is you want to get this roll, as getting Grave Fiends for that increased damage dealt is just so nice. To further scale up our damage, you will out damage the Teen Witch class mod, but you're just losing a lot of survivability, which Vex definitely wants. RAFA, can't you see that someone at Gearbox really hates you? Another melee ordnance one. It's really funny. With this, it's really weird, because if you spec into his melee tree, you want to use the Buster class mod. This Fire Fisher that deals ordnance melee damage equal to Rafa's grenade damage, I haven't seen it do anything considerable compared to getting the Buster with +5 in Permalast. But this class mod does come with 4 skills all in the green tree. So you got El Paraguas, increasing splash damage, and splash damage gains critical hit chance. We also get points into collaborative ignition here, as Rafa deals bonus damage with all skills and ordinances in the element of his current gun while overdrive is active. He also gets a point of synergia here. Whenever Rafa deals ordinance damage, he also deals increased gun damage and melee damage, which will stack up. And he gets multiple points here also into El Diablito here. A portion of all incendiary damage Rafa deals also deals bonus incendiary ordnance damage. This class mod will also always boost up his ordnance damage. I have a really unfortunate roll here with the damage dealt. Damage dealt doesn't currently work on class mods, so you're not getting anything from it. Now I'll show you what this can do against a boss here. Rafa isn't great against going against some of the other more challenging bosses in this game, but you can see like okay damage, and you can see those Fire Fishers on the ground there. The only problem is they're not doing a whole lot of damage here, unfortunately. We are dropping our ordnance with our skill here, which is nice. You do, whenever you play a build like this, want to use some setup that's not going to have an, like, if the ordnance deals damage to you. So you're really limited to using like Destructo Disco, the Fire Pot, and the Waterfall. But yeah, you see here we're doing sweet nothings of damage, and this isn't even in Ultimate Vault Hunter 7 True Mode. So if you've watched my other videos where I break down all weapons, I always use those in Ultimate Vault Hunter 7 True Mode. So yeah, we're not doing much of anything compared to using the Buster class mod. This is really funny because it'll actually end up, yeah, one-shotting the boss. So yeah, with Permalast, you can sometimes get your damage to deal, and it'll recursively deal extra damage to the enemies. So yeah, this is really crazy because you're actually able to drop a bunch of grenades on the ground, and you see there we're starting to do even more damage with this setup. So yeah, it's kind of an RNG dependent build, but yeah, there it goes. We deleted the health bar, and it is RNG dependent. But yeah, if you want to use a melee style Rafa build, you're oddly enough best using the Buster class mod, which is meant for his blue skill tree, because the damage is going to be so much higher. You can actually get really lucky with this setup and end up one-shotting like Subjugator and Thole the Invincible. It's really silly how powerful this setup is, and you saw it there. And here it is against Subjugator and Thole the Invincible using that Buster class mod. So Rafa's best setups, oddly enough, are using a class mod that doesn't make any sense for his setup. You see him there, deleted it. And here's Thole just getting absolutely ripped, a new one, 2 shots. And here it is against Thole the Invincible in Ultimate Vault Hunter 7, getting platinum. I will have that build linked in the comments, but if you want to use the Power Puncher, yeah, good luck. It's not that good. Honestly, I think I'm just going to put this one in the D tier. Unfortunately, Rafa's in a very rough place right now. Harlow's new class mod is kind of interesting here. So basically, we're going to want to use Stasis, so the blue skill tree. The Plasma Fill is also really good, and you can actually get the Ultimate Vault Hunter 7 Platinum time using this. Is kind of funny. I do a video on how to do that. I'll have that linked in the comments. But this class mod comes with a point into one of her best skills, Triple Point. Whenever Harlowe deals non-cryo damage to an entangled enemy, she deals bonus cryo damage to that enemy. And if she deals cryo damage to an entangled enemy, she deals bonus in cryo damage. So basically 15% bonus damage if it's non-cryo, and if you do deal cryo damage, it's 30% bonus damage dealt. This is really good. It also can come with rolls into heat sink here. Whenever Harlowe freezes an enemy, she gains increased action skill cooldown rate. With this setup, you really want action skill cooldown rate so you can spam it. It also comes with points in accretion here, giving lifesteal against entangled enemies, and points in a red skill tree core sample, which gives you lifesteal against frozen enemies, and if you're at full health, you get overshield instead. So essentially what you want to do is you want to hit the action skill here against an enemy, and then you got the convergence here, which allows you to get your action skill back pretty quickly. It's not really the same deal as the other class mod, which lets you get an extra bunch of damage off on the enemy, which I'll show you a comparison to the other class mod that just recently released. So here's the plasma fill, which just released from Subjugator and Fully Invincible. And you can see we do a bunch of extra damage to the boss here. So yeah, the Chirurgeon is okay at best. You really just want to maximize the damage that you're dealing from that. It's more so for mobbing, which is okay. It's just her blue skill tree is a lot less beneficial than her other skill trees here. So yeah, you're best off just using the other plasma fill, which just released here. This new one is okay, but getting that increased damage is nice. However, you could always just use the green skill tree and then run it, oddly enough, with a purple class mod here that just gives you some of the better skills, like the physicist with decoherence, and with the green skill tree you're getting infinite crits. So yeah, it's hard to compete with how good her green skill tree is, which just makes this all that much worse. Like 160% extra damage is nice, but you can get crits with infinite ammo, and you also have the extra bonus damage coming from group studies. So yeah, it's trying to do something that it's just not. I really just prefer using the new plasma fill if you wanted to do a blue skill tree Harlowe. I've tried many different roles here. You can get double action skill like damage. You can get action skill damage and skill damage on it, but even then the skill damage is not really as good as if you were to use like the plasma fill there. Yeah, there it is. Plus 53% skill damage, 70% action skill damage. Yeah, it's just not really that good, I'll be honest. Getting a point at triple point is nice, but honestly, I'd probably have to say that this one is like, I might just say like C tier, it could go D tier. It just feels a little bit less troll worthy than RAFA, so I will put it in a separate tier. Now, similar to Harlowe, Amon's in a situation where his purples end up being a little bit better than his actual skills, his actual ones. Like, the Lamplighter is his only legendary that actually feels decent. But the new Damned, it comes with 4 different roles. It can give you points in a Fist of Stone. Whenever we deal melee damage, get a restored portion of our forge skill cooldown. This can be nice if you want to, like, spam your forge skill. And melee damage means that you can use the Mantra Shotgun. It says melee attacks will double this effect, so if you use your actual melee or the Onslaughter, it also gives points into Tritanium Knuckles for increased melee and skill damage. It can also roll with points in Executioner, which gives you increased critical hit damage, and also Destructive Engine, increased forward skill damage and detonation. Unfortunately, these are early on in this tree, so if you really wanted them, the only one that's worth grabbing, I guess, is the Fist of Stone. So the bonus effect, activating an action skill or forward skill causes the gunshots have a 10% chance to cause that pyre, dealing incendiary melee forward skill damage based on 100% of damage dealt for 10 seconds. Effect can only occur once a second, which is okay. The skill rolls aren't amazing. It'll always come with the action skill cooldown rate, 29% at level 60. And it's okay, I guess. Like, I feel like there is certain builds that could really utilize this a little bit better. There's the pyres getting shot off there, so Amon really is like a heavy ordnance kind of fella, but yeah, you can see there the Dropner is carrying heavy there, so yeah, that's where we're getting all our damage. So I guess as proof, I will now use it without that class mod and show you how powerful the Dropner is. I guess this is more so just showcasing how powerful the Dropner is, so I will swap this weapon to something a little bit more manageable. So I'll put this class mod back on. I won't use the I won't use that heavy ordnance there. You can see the fire pyres there. They're cool. I actually really like the concept of this one here. Just the damage, unless you're using like a really good heavy ordnance, is not going to be that super high. And if you're going to use a heavy ordnance, you may as well just end up using something a little bit different for the damage there. So yeah, pulling out all stops here. Going to switch over to a different heavy ordnance here, which is still amazing because the heavy ordnance do count as guns. So you can see there they are triggering the pyres, but unless you have something like the Dropner, it's not going to be as insanely powerful. And the Dropner is actually getting a lot of its effects from having the Dropner is actually just really, really good. The best in slot for Amon right now. So yeah, you can see it here. It's just okay as far as things go. So yeah. If you're going to run with any type of build, I feel like there may be a build out there that could be really good. The pyres look cool, I gotta say. I really like the appearance of them, but yeah, even with a heavy ordnance, I'm not using like a god roll heavy ordnance, and you can see the pyres are not like super amazing. I'll pop that up there and we'll try it again. Oh, we're out of cooldowns. The damage from like guns just isn't really that amazing. Amon is not like the gun guy. He's the heavy ordnance guy for a reason. So while those pyres are really cool, I feel like the Lamplighter or his Cyborg class mods are even better, even the Grenadier. So yeah, it's okay. Honestly, I feel like if you're running Amon, you'd probably want like the Cyborg to roll with, or even like the Lamplighter. So yeah, it's okay, I guess. I just don't think it's like super amazing. I think the idea of this is really cool. And the fact that it deals forge skill damage is kind of nice as well. So it's also melee damage, so it can trigger some of your abilities. I'm sure there is some synergies here. I'm still playing around with it. Like I have my touches death on here, which is triggered by melee damage, which is what this is dealing. So you can actually stack that up a bit quicker. And maybe with like Groundbreaker, I was trying with the Groundbreaker, didn't find anything super powerful, but I'm just going to put this probably in the B tier. I feel like it is better than Harlow's class mod. It's just not as good as some of the others. Unfortunately, we're not looking too hot on this tier list, but we do have one more here. Now, Cash's new class mod, the Trainer, is really interesting because he gets upwards of 40% increased gun damage per bone totem. Why this is crazy? It gives points into Dealer's Bluff. Whenever Cash gains a stack of fortune, it restores his action skill cooldown, so you can get infinite totems going real quick. 3 points gives you 21% of your action skill cooldown, and with a single point of alchemy, you can toss out a waterfall grenade, and don't go chasing waterfalls, and you'll have a chance to be, every time that you get a elemental effect applied to an enemy, you get a stack of fortune, so you can get this maxed out quickly, giving you all your bone totems back immediately. It can also come with points into Charm Bracelet here, increasing your skill damage, and it further increased skill damage for every bone totem. It also can come with rolls into the wilds. Whenever this is active, Cash and his companions deal random bonus elemental damage. This is at the very bottom of his skill tree. This is at the very bottom of his skill tree, compared to Amon's, which are at the top. It's really funny how this works. And it can also give you points into Restless Remains. Whenever the bone totems die, it has a chance to respawn, so you can get even more of them out. So there's no real bad skill rolls on this. This is the roll that I prefer going with. The extra, you get the bonus damage on your bone totems, you get the extra damage on your skill, and then you get 3 points into the Dealer's Bluff, so you can get your skills back immediately. With a single Dunko Jason Waterfall, you can do some pretty insane stuff, which I'll show you guys. So basically, we're going to toss out our Pokemons here. So we got 4 of them, and these are amazing because all we got to do is throw a grenade here, and we got 4 of them back. Yippee, yippee, yahoo. So yeah, pretty crazy. We went into Windfall there because we activate our Windfall whenever we do that, which means that we lost all of our fortune stacks, which is what we want, because then we can just go ahead with tossing another one of those there and apply a bunch more stacks, getting 4 more bone totems. So yeah, you can go real crazy with this, and you can also run this with Gloam to Glow. So it's really nice in that regard. So you go for the slide there to try and ditch them, and you can also spam your reloads to be able to get those back. We just went back into Windfall here, which is amazing because that means that we can then go ahead here and activate this 4 more times. So throw out our bone totems, and we get a ton of extra damage going. We got a bunch of the badass ones popping off. All you have to do is toss out a waterfall grenade, 4 more bone totems. So yeah, you're getting increased damage for all of these that are out, and you can run this with Gloam to Glow. It's pretty insane. It is kind of hard to get the bone totem damage to go up because they're always losing health, which is increasing your damage. But we do have 200% extra skill damage here. But what's nice about this is just how easy it is to activate. Alchemy being a like tier 1 skill is amazing because you can constantly keep throwing these out here. I'm using an elemental version of the Stray here, which is amazing because then once we leave our Windfall, we got our bone totems back near immediately. So yeah, there's a lot of builds that this can work on. You can use the blue skill tree and get the extra stacks of fortune, so you can constantly be spamming this. The waterfall grenade is just really good on this setup here. We got 4 bone totems back already. So yeah, it is insane how powerful this is. Make sure you got a waterfall or an elemental gun of some sort, and you can just start causing absolute chaos with the amount of bone totems you're able to toss out and get a bunch of extra damage because of that. So if you like spamming your action skill, this is the build for you. I ran out of ammo there. Good thing I got the SMG version of it. Yeah, so just toss a grenade into a group of enemies and watch that you'll immediately get your action skill back, and oftentimes go immediately back into your overdrive. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. This is on like one of the highest tiers here, and we're just absolutely doing some pretty crazy stuff. So many totems out here, so many different builds that you can do with this. It's just absolute chaos, cash chaos, Pokemon trainer, you name it, it does it. This skill tree is amazing with this class mod. And most importantly, it's fun to use. So honestly, I'd have to say this is S tier. It's just really fun. It's useful. Most of Cash's class mods are really good, and this is just another awesome tool in his repertoire. If you want to have a bunch of bone totems, this is your best choice. He still has really good options with the Prestidigitator, the Hotshot, the Ludapath, giving points into Anti-Up. You can get 5 of those. It's amazing. The Whale, also kind of a similar vibe because you can throw out a ton of bone totems with this, because using Alchemy, you can get that to pop off really easily. The Wind Rider is also amazing. I think Cash has the the best class mods by far. The only one that's not really amazing is Rounder, and even this one's still really good. So yeah, the new trainer class mod for Cash, incredible. I'm throwing that in the S tier just because it's fun to use and it's powerful too. And this is the build that I am using here, so I am running with the green skill tree to get Turn of Fate so that we can give ourselves the Gloam to Glow extra damage. Now if you're doing Gloam to Glow, you probably want to get the Wind Rider to get that boost all the way up, but even still, this thing shreds. So yeah, that's where I'd rank each of the class mods in Borderlands 4, the new ones that just got released with the Takedown at Hadron Abyss. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you guys all in the next one.